viewers, we are here today to do some short discussion. With me here is Mr.
Mitchell Mahachi.
And Akena Caesar.
Yeah, so we're going for a break. When I come back, we're going to talk about Germany. And what else do you think we can talk about?
We can talk about our lives as students and general perspective about Germany.
Yeah, and Mr. Mitchell, what's your view about today's show?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think our viewers should learn a lot of things from the discussion.
Sure. Going for a break. When I come back, the two gentlemen tells us more about Germany, their culture shocks, study and work, and many more. Keep watching. All right, we are back on the show. So, on my right hand is Mr.
Akena Caesar Paul Basil.
Akena Caesar Paul Basil and
Mitchell Mahachi.
Mitchell Mahachi. I mean, you're all students in Germany, if I should pick that, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so no need to do any long story about where you're studying and the course you're studying. But how is Germany and how do you see Germany?
Okay, well, so I am here in Germany so far 2 years.
2 years in Germany.
2 years in Germany, yeah. In October, I'll make 3 years. So I came to Germany as a master's student.
Speak loud.
And so far everything is, it's fine. Everything is fine for me.
Yeah, and you study and work or what?
Yeah, it's a little complicated to study and work, but yeah, I try to balance the two.
Yeah. So your view about working and studying as a student, it comes in which way? Like, do you have to work some days in the week or have to do some courses in the week and pause to work? I mean, how does it go?
Yeah, as a full-time student, usually it's hard to work during the day because those are the times I have lectures, like from 8 a.m. Sometimes until 6 p.m. in the evening. So I prefer doing evening and weekend jobs. Yeah,
so you studied in your former country and now you're in Germany. Are there any differences with regard to the curriculum and how they want you to study? I mean, the workload, anything. Are there differences?
Yeah, there are quite a lot of differences in the course content and the workload. Like when I compare the two situations. So here, the course load is actually like sometimes double or more than double. So you have lectures, you have tutorials, you have homeworks, assignments, and this is only for one module.
Presentations.
And then you have presentations, you have seminar papers that you're supposed to write, excursions, and all of these are combined to make you complete a module before you are given a grade to pass.
So all are embedded in one course: the excursions, the trips, the presentations, the tutorials, the practicals, what have you, all in one course.
All in one
so
course.
Students have much to do. Yeah. What's your view about this, Mr. Mitchell?
You mean with regards to
studying in Germany? I mean, studies and how they want students to compose themselves and what they expect from students.
Okay, what I would say is that the experience of learning here in Germany is quite intense. At times they kind of also really want you to, or they push you to the limit, and which is also a good thing. And well, I wouldn't say back home we also don't have the same maybe kind of spirit. We also do have that, but I think sometimes we also do have our limitations in terms of resources. I think you were mentioning about excursions. And sometimes probably back home we would want to have these excursions, but the resources are kind of limited, and so sometimes we do not have them as often as probably we need.
So we could do more as Africans, or we have one continent in the world that can do more if we have the resources and everything in place.
Yes, and another thing that I actually almost had forgotten is this aspect of exchange students. Like I see it's so much prevalent here that a student from one university can go to another university for the next semester and things like that. back home it's not that prevalent that you can change your university midway, like not exactly change, but just exchange.
Just come again. You mean if you were to be in Africa, let's say in your home country,
Yes.
you could move from one country in your capital,
Yeah.
let's say in your first city,
Yes.
to the other city
Yes. And
without quitting the first program.
yeah, just to maybe do a particular course that you like in another university.
Oh, okay.
Just one semester, and then come back with credits from that university.
Yeah, and you have people who travel from other European countries
Exactly. Yes.
to come and pick a semester, just do a semester course,
Yes.
and go back to their country. And they
Yes.
call that Erasmus Mundi program.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Akina, thanks for your submission. Studies, I mean, how did you get to university? I mean, how did you search for the school in Germany?
Of course, I developed the urge to study a master's abroad. So that was the beginning of the journey, and then I had to like look for information on how I can make my dream come true. So there are a lot of online resources that I used to discover more about studies abroad.
Okay. So you had to go to Google or what?
Yeah, I used Google, like a lot of search.
Search engines.
Yeah, search engines. I used Google to search about universities in Europe, in Australia, in America, and then I found the course that I wanted in Germany. So then I read more about the course, about the university. Then ultimately I put in my application, and that's how I eventually came to Germany.
All right. Do you have any view about what you said? I mean,
Yeah. I actually used the Uni Assist portal that is on the internet.
there is a portal called Uni Assist.
Yes. So on this portal, it actually has a number of universities here in Germany and their programs. And then you just make your selection from the programs.
The list
that
of
are there.
schools
Yes.
or the programs that you see in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Akina, it's been well with you in Germany, or what do you have to say about Germany? Is life really good or what?
Yeah.
But before you come in, let me go for a break. When I come back, you tell me more about your life in Germany, the culture shocks and everything.
Yeah.
Maybach music.
Can anybody out there hear me?
All right, so you're on the point of life in Germany and everything you see or find about Germany.
Yes, Charles. You know, studies, like living in Germany as a student, it's not all about studies. There are a lot of things happening in your surrounding. You have a party going.
Do you have party going
your
on in
neighborhood
somewhere?
Yeah, people are making barbecue. So, and now as an international student, are you supposed to always remain in books? No, that's not the case. So we also try to get along with.
You try to
all these
mingle with
activities, mingle when it's time for party. Yeah, you also find a way of how to fit in.
I see.
So we generally I try to do that to make sure that I'm not burnt out with books. So and apart from that, along the economically, you also need some income as you study, because cost of living is actually high. And as a student, opportunities are there to work. You can actually work as you study. So why not take up these chances when they are actually available?
So Germany is one country that you can study and work as a student.
Yeah, definitely. You can make actually a living from some of these student jobs. Yeah, you can earn and finance your accommodation, even tuition is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I could chip in there. My experience here in Germany is maybe double-edged, I would say. So there is on one end, the things that I actually found quite a challenge is this aspect of language.
Language?
Yeah, I would think that it would be advisable if you want to come to Germany, at least maybe you, in your home country, if it's possible, you could do at least maybe just the elementary stages
You
of
do
German.
the A1.1 or A1.2 course?
I would say A2 actually, yeah. So that at least, you know, you are not dumbfounded, you are in a shop, you want to buy something, or just about anywhere you can convey yourself. So that's maybe the first part, which is a bit tricky about life here in Germany. And then the second thing has to do with the weather. Yeah, it is a bit cold, especially in their winter. And so the weather also sometimes is very unpredictable.
We're in summer, but still I feel some cold.
And you see I have my jacket. So
yeah.
And the sun is actually out there. But so this weather aspect, yeah, well, you are, I think you are actually not quite prepared for the weather. So those two aspects, I would say, really have made a bit of difficult for my life here.
But would you say you've gained a lot as a student when it comes to knowledge?
Oh yes, definitely. I would say I've actually gained a lot. Well, for me, actually, I've gained a lot from networks. I've gained a lot from the professors, because that's one other thing that I also want to mention, that you actually have a lot of access to the professors.
Okay.
Unlike in my home country, I think professors are kind of aloof, you know.
In your home country, professors are like demigods.
Exactly, yeah. So,
you can't touch them. You can't even approach them.
Can't touch this, yes, exactly. So
even greeting your own professor becomes a problem in your home country.
Yeah, but
elsewhere in Ghana, it's almost the same.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
There are one or two professors who maybe would be an exception in the home country, but generally, I think you get the picture. You're not quite accessible as compared to here.
So over here, professors are accessible?
Yeah, definitely.
They behave as if they are friends, right? You can talk to them.
But actually, they are friendly, accessible, but they want to maintain the relationship professional.
Professional relationship with you.
And you shouldn't take that for granted. And use it to like for other benefits.
Yeah, but we know that. But elsewhere in Africa, it's very serious. I mean, the attitude of the professor can even frustrate you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I know of one story where one student was trying to greet his professor. So he was like, I wouldn't mention the name on the show. It was like, good morning, blah, 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 blah. I said, hey, whom are you greeting? Go and find some books and study. Yeah, whom are you greeting? Go and find some books and study. You are here to study, not to greet professors. All right, so this is a lovely show. We are on the show, two great men from Africa, one from South Sudan, one from Zimbabwe. They are sharing knowledge with us. I'm going for a break. When I come back, we continue from there. All right, so this is your favorite show, Meet Charles show. We are still on experiences in Germany and everything that you have to know about studying in Germany. How to even get a school in Germany. And like he said, you have to use some search engines or use Uni Assist Portal, as Mr. Mitchell said. Yeah. So we are still on your experiences in Germany. How do you find their food, their environment, their culture, everything?
Yeah, actually I had a different opinion about environment in Germany, but actually realized that here the people care so much about the environment. In the immediate neighborhood, in my apartment, and the government in general, like there's a lot of support and funding for environmental measures. Yeah, so because you know in Africa we know that Germany is highly industrialized, and so you will expect like there's a lot of like pollution of the atmosphere and the environment in general. But I was shocked when I first arrived here, and then I saw beautiful landscape, properly kept, like clean. You see forests, people like apartments in forest. Actually, people live in forest, and highways are passing through forests, and you don't see people destroying this beautiful environment.
So they have a good landscape, and they try to work towards greenhouse gases emissions, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of programs on reducing emissions.
Yeah, so they are fighting climate change, or they have some good thoughts about climate change, so they know how to live in the environment, keep the environment neat.
It's true.
Yeah, and their food.
And this is actually like it's a big problem in our countries back home, because people heavily depend on the environment for their livelihoods. So people exploit forests for firewood, for food, and for other livelihood means. Yeah. So and we have actually, this has become really a very big problem in terms of environmental conservation.
Yeah, so when it comes to nature protection or environmental protection or conservation, they are almost at the peak. They know what they are doing.
Yeah, they have the resources.
Compared to Africa.
They have the resources to take care.
Is it about the mindset or the resources?
I think the resources play a big part.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think you mentioned about eco-services, and the lifestyle here is not so much that they depend on a day-to-day basis on eco-services. They've actually like extended their lives so that they can survive, let's say, on technology instead of direct eco-services, benefits from trees on a day-to-day basis. So you'd find we are actually on the opposite. We actually, you wake up in the morning, you want to cut down a tree so that you can put food on your table.
You can sell and buy something.
So that's the kind of life. So maybe in a way it has to do with resources, like you mentioned. But I also think it's because they are not exactly connected on a day-to-day basis with eco-services. They are living off of technology to some extent.
And their cuisine, I mean their German food, how do you find it?
Yeah, there are quite a lot of them that I like. I was first introduced to what they call Maltasen.
Maltasen?
Yeah, Maltasen.
And what is Maltasen? I actually have been here. Maybe I just eat without knowing.
Tell me as much about Maltasen.
I was told that the origin of Maltasen is actually from like the monastery. So like the people in the monastery were meant to fast away from fast from eating meat, so they were like putting the meat inside some kind of like wrapping, so like to hide it away from I don't know, from God or from the public. So that's how it came about. So you can and now there is actually vegetarian Maltasen also, where you have the outer part, I don't know what it's made out of, but you find the inside part is stuffed with meat or vegetables. And
so it's like a bread?
Looks like
with the inside stuck with meat?
Yeah, and then it is served with some sauce, for example, soy sauce and other sauces I don't really know exactly. So that's the traditional
Maltasen
German cuisine that I was first introduced to when I arrived in Germany.
And their beer, how have you had a taste of their beer?
Yeah, they have quite a lot of varieties of beer.
They have so many varieties of beer.
So many, like
about 350 brands of beer in the country.
So many, right? I even don't know how many they are. Today you go to another area, you find totally different
it's like
beer brands.
Small regions have their own beer.
Yeah, that's true.
So you see cities like München or Stuttgart having their specific beer.
Even within
then we have beers that come from other states.
Within Stuttgart, you find like different districts with their own beer, like breweries producing different brands of beer. So I think there is no import for beers here.
I actually know one guy who would have liked to come because of this topic.
So tell me much about that. I mean, your experience with regard to their cuisine, food, or...
Yeah, well, with regards to cuisine, when I came here, I actually had a very big problem. Because imagine you have the type of food you have been eating for the past more than 20 years and suddenly you come and that food is not there.
There's a change in the food.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, the food is written in a language that you don't understand. So you are not quite sure, is it the same one or is it a different one? If I take this, what's going to happen?
Meaning, you can go to a German shop, you could see something nice, food well packaged. Yeah. But the language alone restricts you from
exactly. You don't want to, you don't want to waste money because you have taken the food anticipating you're going to have a good time, only to throw it away.
All right.
So,
but it's a matter of knowing what you want. And if you don't know, it's good to ask.
But in this case, he knows what he wants. But the language on the label, I mean, the language on the bottle. Or
my guy, asking someone, he will tell you, okay, it's this. But how do you know the taste is going to be okay for you?
Yeah.
So this way you
So you should stick to what you know.
Yeah. Well, what I know is back home.
Yeah. So this is our show. I mean, we are all students discussing our experiences in Germany and nothing much. So about the economy, how do you see the German economy? What is causing the boost? I mean, what is making them have a good economy?
I think economic factors, economic policies play a very big factor here. For example, there's flexibility in terms of employment. When you look at the German labor force, you see a huge proportion of people from other countries working, supporting in the services and in the industrial sector. People coming from Africa, from other parts of Europe, from Asia, yeah, from all over the world. And
so they've invested so much in manufacturing and production.
Exactly.
Small scale enterprises
and large scale.
And large scale enterprises, and this is where they get their taxes from to develop the country.
Exactly.
And why can't we do same in Africa, Mr. Mitchell?
Okay, let me first talk about the German experience that I've seen. I think you mentioned this aspect of manufacturing of goods. So what is linked to this manufacturing of goods then is also this issue of tax. So the government is, in my opinion, I'm not sure if that's the exact, because the taxes are also a bit high in terms of the taxes for your salaries, etc., etc. So the government has also ensured that everyone pays tax in one way or the other. And then the good part though is that this tax actually works for you to some extent. We have seen it in the COVID era where you know, you had to be tested and it was free. It was that tax money has come back for you. So I think on that part, that's something that is also missing back home. You pay tax, you are even heavily taxed, you know, like you work like a donkey, you are taxed like a donkey. But when it comes now to the tax working for you now, you don't see it.
Hey, the services are limited.
So it's not as if we don't pay taxes back home in Africa.
The taxes are
but
there.
How to manage and use the taxes for our own good is always the problem.
That's the other challenge. And coming back
actually,
to this,
on that same point, it all comes back to the issue of accountability to the taxpayers.
Exactly.
Accountability to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
So you're on your point before he came in.
Yes. I just wanted to expand on this, which also links to what you're saying, accountability. The other issue that I also see in various of our countries is this aspect of corruption.
Corruption.
Yes, and corruption is like a cancer. You know, and you know, a cancer, when it is actually advanced, it's very difficult to treat.
Deep down the body, you cannot treat it.
So this is where we are at now, where almost all sectors of the economy, you'll find that we have this cancer of corruption. And that actually affects the economy and on how it is going to operate. And the other thing that I also see is that I was mentioning about this aspect of depending on eco services. Yes. So it also comes down now to the economy. It's also based on extractions rather than on beneficiation of these same products that we do have. For instance, I'll give you an example. Right now, the world is turning to renewable energy, and in particular, we have this growth in electric vehicles. At a time where most of the resources for electric vehicles, like the electric batteries that are supposed to use on the vehicles, most of the lithium actually comes from Africa. But we do not have lithium batteries being manufactured in Africa.
So we have the resources, but we only sell them as raw materials to these big guys.
Exactly. So now you look at the cost of one Tesla car with this lithium battery that we have, you would find that maybe it's going for around 80,000. And how many tons of lithium can you buy with 80,000? So you actually find that the same amount of money that is used to buy lithium in Africa can actually make, I don't know how many cars you can.
No, I get your point.
Yes.
But we're a new generation, right? You mentioned corruption, and it's been long since we talked about corruption in Africa. We are a new generation. What can be done? What is the solution?
Okay, I come back to what I've observed here in Germany. The first thing that you want to do is you want to create this respect of the next person. This is the first thing that I observed when I arrived in Germany.
they think about the generation to come, right?
Even the next person, you, the next person to
Closer
me,
to you.
yes. So immediately I sit here, I have to think about you. So even on the bus, as you get on the bus, immediately you see there's a sign for the elderly people, there is for the children with the pram and things like that. And the bus is even, it even tilts. If you're an old person, when you want to get out, it tilts so that they accommodate everyone.
So it all comes back to the system they have.
Exactly.
The system makes them less corrupt.
Yeah, in a way you would say that.
The
Yes.
system makes them less corrupt.
Like
So
there's accountability at personal level. No, I've observed a lot of things. There is like no one really following you to do a lot of things. For example, you know that you're not supposed to just throw away the garbage anywhere. There are places where
like
you're supposed to put-
self-discipline.
Self-discipline, yeah, self-discipline. And when you enter the bus, you are supposed to buy a bus ticket. No,
Nobody controls you to do, but you know you're supposed to buy
it's a crime
before you
not
even
to
enter
buy.
the bus.
Yeah. So before you enter the bus, you know you need to have a ticket, or you buy at entrance. So this kind of
In the
self-discipline,
trains, in the bus, everywhere you go.
everywhere you go. So when we don't have discipline at personal level, now how will you have discipline when you're entrusted with public resources?
Even at your own disposal, I mean,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
personal level, you are not
exactly.
disciplined.
You're not disciplined.
So when we entrust a public office or position in you, what else do we expect? All right, this is your favorite show, Meet Charles Show, on a different level. Zimbabwe, South Sudan, Ghana.
Yes.
Going for a break. When I come back, we'll tell you more. So, how do you observe your leisure? And what has been some culture shocks since you came to Germany? After he speaks, you also come in, then we can wrap up the show.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So naturally, I'm a soccer fan.
You're a soccer fan.
Yeah. So now I don't play soccer, but I used to play a lot. So here I follow soccer news. I watch football games on my TV at home. I watch the Bundesliga, the German.
Did you go to the stadium to watch Bundesliga? Like are students allowed to go to stadiums?
Students allowed, but I heard the tickets are actually very expensive to buy, and they are not easily available, especially when the Bayern Munich, for example, is playing
Borussia Dortmund
Borussia Dortmund.
or Mönchengladbach.
The tickets are bought like from the beginning of the season. For the entire season, you cannot find a ticket for such important matches. I also follow games in other leagues across the globe.
That is how you spend your leisure.
That's how I spend my leisure.
How do you spend your leisure, Mr. Mitchell?
Well, for me, it's slightly different. Football, well, I'm not so much into football. Though I do follow here and there because of the noise that he makes, I eventually have to know. But as for me, I'm someone who likes to learn a lot of things, so I'm always on YouTube following developments in another country, and there are a lot of YouTubers that are also giving us insights of different countries, so I'm following activities
Yeah,
like that.
I am also on YouTube because YouTube is another search engine.
Yeah.
I think the largest or the biggest search engine
Mm-hmm.
after Google itself.
Yeah.
So I'm sometimes on YouTube, sometimes I have to read and stuff. So that's how we always spend our leisure. And I also love soccer too, not only reading.
Okay.
I like soccer.
Yeah.
In England, I'm a fan of Liverpool,
Yeah.
and in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of Real Madrid.
Ah.
That is my team in Europe.
And in
I'm a
Germany?
Madridista.
Mhm.
In Germany, it's been here and there. I toggle between two teams.
Yeah.
Bayern München
Uh-huh.
with Borussia Dortmund, BVB.
Okay.
I have some soft spot for Borussia Dortmund.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I am in Bavaria, and
So naturally.
naturally you have some some feelings or some likeness for.
What do you make of this dominance of Bayern Munich? Is it a healthy situation that is taking
It's-
all the trophies?
It's not so healthy to see one team winning every single trophy.
Yeah.
But it's about what they put in.
Okay, so
They
it's
invest in their club.
uh-huh.
I've checked the history of Bayern Munich,
Mhm.
how they invested in training. I mean, getting the academy, spending more on academy, and everything.
But someone told me that actually Bayern Munich doesn't have an active academy. It instead buys.
They buy, but
good players
they
from
know
other-
where they
other
know
teams.
they know where to fish them, and they know where to get them from the academy.
Okay.
They may not have an academy sitting somewhere, but they get these guys through some good scouts and build them up.
And I think also like the money that they are willing to pay.
Of course, we can ignore that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have really invested in their teams and their.
So they are the Chelsea of Germany.
They are the Liverpool of Germany. No, I know you support Chelsea.
No, I mean with Abramovich, he was buying a lot of players then. I'm not sure now.
Abramovich
in terms of money.
or the German CEO
Or
of
Man
Chelsea.
City. You know, Man City also.
Yeah, like they
putting
did,
a lot of money in England.
yeah. So that is how many students spend their leisure, either the books, or soccer, or YouTube, or bicycle ride.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
People go on a ride.
I also go for walks.
For walk,
Yeah.
yeah, people go on walk. Yeah. So, what has been the greatest culture shock since you came to Germany?
My greatest cultural shock is actually finding myself in an area where you are like a minority in a community where you don't see so many people from Africa, and many things are actually different. Yeah, the level of economic development is totally like the gap is wide between where I come from and where I am in right now, and that comes with a lot of challenges. For example, in terms of the transport, the food, entertainment, a lot of things are totally different, completely different.
So, one thing that you can trust about Germany is the transport system. You don't need to own a car to be happy in Germany
Yeah, definitely.
because the rail is effective.
Yeah, definitely.
The bus system is effective. I mean, you can trust it.
Yeah.
So unlike America and other places where you need to get a car to be safe, Europe and especially Germany, you
Yeah.
just don't need a car to be happy.
And
But the bus is out there waiting for you. The train is out there waiting for you.
There are regional trains where you can travel from city to city, and trains meant only for
They have about 7 types of train: flex train, IC,
DB.
the Regio, the DB, the
ICE.
RE, a lot, a lot. Then the buses too. They follow the same line. I mean, same suit. They have about 7 or 8 different types of buses and the different purposes.
even buses that cross from like move from Germany to other European countries.
Yeah, you have buses traveling from here to Romania and other places in Europe.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to know, before I come to you, Mitchell, in your country, how is it like? Like, let's say if I want to invite you for a party, do you come with food and drinks or everything, or you come to my party to see food and drinks and you just have to enjoy yourself? How is it done in South Sudan?
Actually, you don't sometimes need an invitation to go for a party.
You need invitation to go for a party in Germany.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
In my country, you don't need. Well, so long as you see people are gathered and something is happening, you just join.
So in South Sudan, you don't need any strict invitation.
It's not strict.
Once
no
you
one,
see the,
no one, no
you
one
hear the
is
sound
checking,
and the
whether you
food
have
being shared.
invitation card or not.
Yeah.
So and you are not obliged to carry a drink or food with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So the organizer of the party caters for
So
everyone.
So this can be a culture shock, you know. Elsewhere, you don't need any official invitation for a party. And once you hear the music being bashed and food and drinks being served, you can just join them and have a taste.
Only for high profile like
High
parties.
profile parties.
Yeah, that's where invitations are honored.
That is everywhere. I mean, how is the situation like in your country in terms of, let's say I have a party, do you have to come with resources like food, drinks before I see you coming to my party, or
Normally, the expectation is if Charles has invited me, Charles knows his pocket, and he has made all the arrangements.
so if I
So
pick
I'm
a phone and say, Mitchell, please come to my party
Yes, immediately I'm just coming with my stomach.
in Zimbabwe.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. But coming here, it's a totally different story. Sometimes I actually notice people are invited to a party, and the first question they ask is, "What shall we bring?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So there we're supposed to bring something.
Yeah. So the first question that the person going for the party will ask is, "What should I bring?"
What should I bring? Yeah.
Should I bring sausage or
Exactly,
bread
yeah,
or
yeah.
salad or water
And
or
then
drinks?
it's up to the person that has done the invitation to say, no, just come, I've done everything. Or,
Yeah.
And actually, yeah, if you go with some drinks or some food, you're supposed to promote it for people to like introduce. Okay, this may be
Such and such.
Say if you prepare something from South Sudan
yeah, this
and
is,
you go to a party and you want people to join you,
yeah,
you have to
you have to
explain to them
that-
why
like
you brought the food,
like the
how to prepare
ingredients,
the
how you
food, the
prepare
ingredients.
it, like, then you can give people to try. Like yeah, so
And
they
this-
eat with you.
And these Germans and Europeans like something spicy. I've just noticed that.
Not
Not
really.
quite. They don't really like hot things. Maybe
You
mild,
can't
mild,
you
you
can't
might
add
say.
you can't add pepper to your food.
You actually can.
You kill them. You kill them when you add pepper to their
They
food.
don't like it.
And let me find out from you. It's still about the culture shocks and
Yeah.
how you spend your leisure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say this time not a party.
Mm-hmm.
This time I'm saying, oh hi guys, can we go down there to this bar or lounge and let's have a beer?
Yep.
When we go and have that beer, who pays for that beer? I did the invitation.
Yep.
I actually told you to follow me.
Yeah. So naturally,
In
what
Germany, am I supposed to pay for you?
Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. Here in Germany, the expectation is once you are going for such an event, each one does their own stuff. So, because now the Charles, the beer tanker, is taking and taking and taking. So if you
But
like,
watch the two. This is not the issue of the party like this.
yeah, it's not a party.
situation.
I know.
This is like as we're talking. I said,
Exactly.
oh, after
Let's
the
just
show,
go for
let's go for some drinks.
Yeah. So
Somebody is telling you after the show, let's go for some drinks.
yeah. So that's
So
what I'm saying.
what
Mutually.
do you have to worry? I mean, let's go for a drink means I will pay.
Yeah,
Or how
because-
does it work in Germany?
Like I mentioned, when we drink differently, there's Akena.
Yeah.
Akena likes his drink, right? So I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't want to limit him because he might want 5 to 10 to I don't know whatever number. So if I'm to say like you have made the let's just go for drinks, it's just a request for us to. It's like the social conversation around drinks. So each one just pays for their own drinks. That's the expectation.
All right, before we end this show, tell me the popular food in South Sudan,
From my
ethnic background.
from active
The
background,
popular food,
there's this famous food called malakwang.
malakwan. One day you show me how to prepare malakwan. And what is the popular beer in your country?
We have this beer that actually has already collapsed. The company it was called the White Bull. And
The White Bull beer
that
is
was the
popular.
first beer.
The White Bull beer is the popular beer in South Sudan. In Ghana, we have the club. The popular beer is the club. And as an Ashanti, my popular food is the fufu. With soup. It could be palm nut soup, it could be peanut soup or whatever. What is your popular food in your country?
Well, I'm a bit biased, so I'll tell you my popular type of food, I would say. There's fufu, I guess, is the base.
Cassava, plantain
So
mixed
that's
together.
the starch. So there is sadza, that's the starch. And it's accompanied by the intestines and some vegetable, really.
And the popular beer in your country?
Well, the popular one, I would say, is the traditional OPEC beer.
OPEC beer.
Yeah.
Local
We
brew
call
or-
it chubuku.
So White Bull, Club, and
Chubuku.
Chubuku.
Yeah.
All right, this is where we draw curtains on today's show. I would like to have this gentleman sometime on my show.
Yeah.
And we talk about South Sudan. And he tells me more about Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Whilst I tell them more about Ghana. Keep watching your favorite show, Mitch Charles Show. Let's say bye-bye to our viewers.
Bye-bye.
So
viewers.
bye bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go.